Oh, it's filming grass. So,
action, take two.
Yeah, might be pointed at your head. You might just be filming this bit around here. I'll cut your hair a bit anyway. You want it a bit short at the side and everything?
Well, somebody said to me the other, just like you did with the big number.
Yeah, okay then.
But I don't think it's. I don't mind it a bit raggedy, but I just thought there's such a difference between that length and that length.
All right.
Because I couldn't get
So
to it.
do
But
you
I don't
really
like it.
need
I
to
don't
be
like
long-
it.
short
I
to the
don't like
back?
it ever so short though either. I haven't
No,
said
but
that.
you need a bit off at the back,
Yeah, a
perhaps.
little bit, yeah.
Okay then.
But I've got a very bad scalp at the minute with this dry skin. I don't know. It's just terrible.
Okay.
I'm in a terrible state.
You put cotton wool. Cotton wool. Do you put coconut oil?
No, I will do though. I'm just waiting to grow me coconuts at the moment. What I don't want you to do, right? I was in at the railway station with Alexander on Saturday about tea time, and a load of Aston Villa fans came by.
Yeah.
With a view to catching the train to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And Alex, they got chatting, one or two of them, and one of them said I look like Roy Hodgson, so don't emphasise that, because I know he's got bags under his eyes like I have, but surely I don't look as old as him, surely. When I was a driver, I delivered to this place in Worksop once, and he said, "Oh, Roy Hodgson." I thought, bloody hell, do I really? No wonder I can't get a woman.
Well, Roy Hodgson's married, isn't he?
Yeah, but she's probably the only one available to us.
What, I mean, to people who look like Roy Hodgson?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm thinking I'm going to have to
swap.
I'm going to have to start wearing them bloody masks that I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm just looking around to see what we've got.
It's all right.
Let's have a look round. So I'm doing the back of the number 12 here.
Yeah, just like
I feel like a golfer. I pinch it, and it's sometimes a good idea to hold the hair while you run the clippers over it, because introduce it, as it were.
Yeah.
And then it should so it takes off the excessive bits. Yeah, so last time I was talking to you, you were talking about you started your hairdressing career.
Yeah. And I had 2 salons and stuff like that.
Yep. You had what?
I had 2 small salons, didn't I? One at Fairvale and one at Treaton.
Oh, yeah. Well, you managed this shop for us.
And I managed your shop for a little bit, yeah.
So, but the other thing was, when did you start doing disc jockeying then?
Here. She's here now.
Hi, Gillian. Just recording Graeme's bit of Graeme's story and trimming his hair. It won't be long.
I'm too embarrassed to do it in front of strangers.
What, have your hair trimmed?
Yeah, and tell me stories.
Well, you can tell a bit of. Come on, tell us a bit of story.
Well, you are these days. I haven't seen you for weeks.
Well, I've been coming here regularly.
Oh, okay.
I brought you 3 mugs.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, 3 mugs.
That looks good.
3 mugs.
A wash, to be honest, before using, because I haven't used it in a while.
Thank you very much, Gillian. It's kind of you.
3 mugs.
Yes, you want one?
What, a china cup you mean, like a mug?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it just been.
I'm alright for cups.
Can I have one of them just for a second? Because Graeme said that you ought to wear a mask, so here, this is an opportunity to have a different mug.
Oh yeah. Okay.
See, mug shot.
Yeah. Well, somebody
Nice one, isn't it?
Somebody said to me the other day that I look like Roy Hodgson.
Well, Gillian might not know.
A football manager. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him. I wouldn't know if I fell over him.
And I was quite upset that somebody thought I looked like him.
Yeah.
But he's not the only one. A guy in Worksop, when I was delivering there,
Be best if you have the thing at the front then, it'll look more like an hose, you see. You've got two eyes on it as well.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks very much for that, Gillian.
Thank you. Nice mug. So, what was I saying?
Yeah, so you, what started you doing disc jockeying then? Is that what it's called officially, being a disc jockey?
Shyness.
Shyness?
Yeah, I was so painfully shy that nobody believed I would do it, and I couldn't believe it myself, to be fair. But
Well, did somebody do disc jockeying that you admired and wanted to be like or something?
I used to listen to Johnny Walker on the Radio 1.
Yeah.
I listened to all the Radio 1 at that time. And but Johnny Walker was my favourite DJ, and I never liked Jimmy Savile.
No.
Although he was a relative, he was a cousin to my mum's closest friend who lived in Bristol.
Gosh.
So I was at Roger Sherwood's, and
so just go over that top bit a bit then.
Yeah.
Very subtly.
And I thought wasn't sure I wanted to do hairdressing really.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at it, and so I was always interested. I developed this real interest in music while I was, at school and at work and
yeah, because we last time you were in, we did started a playlist.
Oh, we did, yeah, that's right.
Got 5 on it.
Yeah. You got I Hear You Knocking.
Yeah.
You've got Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town.
Yeah.
And you've got Venus, Shocking Blue.
Yeah.
And you've got I'll Never Fall in Love Again with Bobby Gentry.
Yeah.
And some Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh yeah.
And some
about Liszt, wasn't it? Something about a Liszt.
I wasn't very familiar with his works, but I've got other classical music.
Yeah.
I quite like listening to Planet Suite. I remember that when I was a kid. Things like that.
Yeah.
I just developed a general taste in music.
So, how did you actually start DJing then? Did you have your own equipment to start with?
No, my dad bought me it.
So your dad thought it would be a good idea as well then?
Well, I think he just, whatever I said I fancy doing, he kind of go along with it.
Yeah.
But, he bought me my first load of gear. Was a shop just near Castle Market. I remember RSO it was called, and it was all disco, hi-fi stuff. And so that's where it started, really.
So did you ask him then, or did he suggest it?
What?
Did you ask him to buy you some stuff?
No, I just said I fancy doing a bit of DJ when I got no money. He knew I got no money, so
yeah,
he helped me out.
Right. Did you know any disc jockeys at the time?
Yeah, the first mobile disco in Sheffield was a guy called Richard Wilson, and his disco was.
I don't believe it.
His disco was called Steel City Sounds.
Yeah.
And he was, to my best of my knowledge, it was him and Ray Banks, a guy called Ray Banks, who had who owned a record shop up at Firth Park called Roadrunner.
Yeah.
And Ray Banks and Richard Wilson were the first two kind of mobile DJs in our area, anyway.
Yeah.
And I wrote him. I were a bit too. He was the son of friends of my mum and dad.
Yeah.
And it was my mum that told me about it, and I didn't have the confidence to ring him and ask him, so I wrote him a letter.
Yeah.
And asked if it'd be all right to come along and just observe and maybe help him hump the gear and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I imagine that'd be welcome.
Yeah, yeah, because all that vinyl used to weigh a ton.
Mm.
I remember having to go up to some discos I used to do where you have to go up the fire escape and the back of these pubs and the
Yeah.
really sheer steps and way, carrying records and decks and all that. It's very heavy.
Yeah.
What years was that then?
1974 I started DJing. Carl Douglas with Kung Fu Fighting was #1 in the charts. That'll have to put on the list.
Yeah.
I'll put it on my list.
Well, that's Giblet and Sullivan, isn't it?
That's Giblet and Sullivan.
Yeah, Gilbert, to give it his proper title.
That was #1 when I started DJing, because we were in the middle of the Kung Fu craze with Bruce Lee and all that.
Yeah.
And so I went with Richard on quite a few discos. He was quite booked up, so he let me come on with him, and then he gave me a slot eventually. I remember at the Sheffield Wednesday ground at the function room there. It was alright. Bit nerve-wracking, but it was okay.
Well, I suppose you've got a barrier, haven't you, with the records as well.
But what do you mean?
Well, what I mean is that it's like being a part in a play, I suppose, being a DJ sort of thing. It's not necessarily you're there with the playing stuff as well, sort of thing. It's so you've got a bit of it's almost like a bit of stage, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be wrong.
A bit like being an actor, isn't it, where you lose yourself in the character, I suppose.
Yeah. So that if they don't.
But nevertheless, I still used to get threatened quite a lot when I was discoing.
Is that people who probably had a bit too much to drink and sort of like trying to impress
Mostly, yeah.
maybe a lady friend and said, "What's your favourite tune? I'll get him to play it for you," and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I used to get a lot of. Used to get situations where the music you were playing was not to the liking of certain people, so they would eventually pluck up the courage to tell you, but in the meantime they slowly got drunk until they could tell you. So I got threatened quite a lot, really. Well, I say quite a lot, but a few times anyway.
What did they? Was it all taught then, or did anybody actually?
Somebody threatened to have a go at me twice, I think it was. Ironically, that was the last one I did at Hoyland at this pub called the Welcome Inn.
Welcome Inn.
Yeah, and we did a disco on Christmas Eve, and then they booked me again for New Year's Eve, and Christmas Eve went down like a lead balloon. It just didn't take off at all. There was hardly anybody came in.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether that was why that was. Whether it was because the regular DJ wasn't there, I don't know. But I stood in for him anyway, and it was a disaster. And I thought, it was no good.
Well,
and then we did.
Were there not many people there then?
Not on that one, no. Then we did Christmas Eve, and Carolyn came along to that one. Alex was only a babe, so my mum and dad got him, but she came along to that one and got threatened on that one at the end of the night. It was a good night as well. Everybody was up and dancing, so it was a good night.
But somebody threatened you because they hadn't played the music or something.
Somebody. I think I could see that this little group of people weren't right happy with what I could just sense it and knew that they weren't happy, and they were very close to the equipment and everything.
Yeah.
So I could see that one of them in particular was obviously not very. I must have got on his nerves. Perhaps I talked too much or something. I don't know, but I know I messed up the chimes at normally when I do the chimes on New Year's Eve, I'd get the radio and I'd hook it into the system, so that when the 12 o'clock came for the chimes, I just play it in. But for some reason, got the timing wrong on that one, and I don't think they were very happy about it.
So what were you late then for New Year's or what? Or?
A little bit. I just mistimed it a little bit, and
did they hear the final big band thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And they you know, so, but nevertheless, I mean, everybody else danced and seemed to enjoy it. So, but
Well, you would imagine there
I
was.
know Carolyn went to the loo at one stage and she had to go past these people to get there.
Yeah.
And this guy who was I think the guy that was really pissed off about us. He called her a really unpleasant name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She came back from the toilet and was a bit obscene to her.
Yeah.
So she punched him, and she punched him right there, and he threw up all his beer. But
yeah,
I didn't feel any sympathy for him.
No.
And, I thought she's only a little Carolyn, but she can pack a punch.
Yeah. Yeah, goodness me.
Yeah.
Oh,
but you know, we did other discos from the 70s up to the 90s. I think in 1974 up to 1999 I did them.
Yeah.
And that was the last one. And they did ask me. She said to me, the landlady said, "Would you come in and do a regular stint for us?" Like, and I was that peeved by what the night had been with this guy and everything that I didn't. I said, "No, I've had enough. I'm not doing it."
Mm.
So, but we did other rough pubs like the Magnet at Saudi.
Yeah.
That was quite rough. That we got that one going. That was doing nothing at the time.
Yeah.
And we changed the music, and everybody, you know, gradually got people coming back. You know, they did quite well.
Do they still have? Well, they have karaoke's, don't they, these days? But do you reckon they still have discos somewhere for nostalgia reasons?
Well, I went to a disco. I went to April's. April, my niece, her birthday was two or 3 weeks ago, and she booked a Holiday Inn at Dodder in Barnsley. And,
Is that spelled Dodsworth?
It's Dodworth.
Isn't it?
Dodworth. Dodworth, yeah. There was a disco there. Seemed to do okay, yeah. So I think they do exist. I've thought about doing it again, but just doing a retro one instead of all the up-to-date stuff.
Well, what about the Hillsborough Hotel where... I don't know.
I toy with the idea, and then I don't. And then I think, "No, you're too old, Graz. Come on, get real." So
If you're doing a retro one,
yeah, could do.
Mm-hmm.
be ideal. A friend of mine runs Nightingale Audio. He has audio equipment, and I mean some of it's functions, but also they do discos and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know occasionally for friends' parties, Tim, sets everything up, so we've got music and lights and sound and everything.
Yeah. Interesting.
So he some of his conference events as well, but yeah, they can put on basically a mobile disco show.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, as of now, I mean, Alex was interested in getting involved, but then he's moved down to London, so that's gone on the back burner really.
Yeah.
And I didn't fancy doing it on my own anymore. So
yeah.
But I did some stuff. I worked at some nightclubs, and I did the wedding scene as you do to start with, and then got into a little bit of club work here and there. Got the Dam House restaurant. I had residency there for a while, and which is more like after dinner type, not like a mad disco, but people middle of the road, you know what I mean, type music.
When was that?
That was at Dam House restaurant. I used to have a bit of a residency down there.
When?
Oh, that'd be. Oh my God, I can't even remember. During the 80s, I think. It was owned by an Italian guy called, I can't remember his name now, and it caught fire. Do you remember? It was set on fire. They were thinking it was an insurance job. But I do remember that him and his cronies coming in every night, and
When they say crony, is it somebody with a crow on the knee?
wouldn't fancy sort of little mafioso when they used to walk in.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I got the residency up at Wakefield at 5 Acres.
Wakefield.
Yeah, up towards Wakefield and Pontefract,
Oh yeah.
that kind of way. It was out of the way,
Yeah.
near Grimesthorpe in Barnsley and South Kirby and all those areas, predominantly mining towns, you know.
Mm.
And I used to do. But Richard got me that one as well because this guy that we worked for, a guy called Ken. He was a scary guy. He had me very nervous. I think I think that
Just trim those on your neck.
I think that he'd been involved in some stuff.
Some neck trimming. Sorry, yeah. The neck trimming took over when you were saying that last bit. So got involved in something that you might not want to be involved in yourself.
Well, I think he was a guy that was a little bit above the a bit naughty.
Okay.
And he was an ex-rugby league player, Ken. I always remember him, big, stocky lad, but not particularly tall, but very stocky, you know. And he got one eye. He'd been studded in one of his eyes, so that eye was very cloudy and this.
Studded.
In playing rugby, a stud. He must have.
Oh,
Caught
you mean
stud,
on the
yeah.
boots? Yeah.
Yeah, he caught a stud in his eye, and it was, and he had this cloudy eye,
Yeah.
which made him look a bit more menacing as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was only this is 1977ish, I think, and I was only about 7 stone wet through, and
Did you actually weigh yourself?
no, I was very thin, and I was very and I got curly perm, you know.
Mm.
Looking back, it's embarrassing now, but I mean, I got this curly perm because I was a mad fan of Ian Hunter of Mott the Hoople, and I tried to be like him, as you do.
Yeah.
And so Richard got me this gig, and I went out there, and it was this huge house. There was a house, and then there was a nightclub type thing.
Did that Ian Hunter sing that All the Young Prudes? No, it was similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, all the Young Dudes, wasn't it?
All the Young Dudes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that song's been played to death, hasn't it? But I mean,
I don't know. How do you like
Mott the Hoople themselves, I used to love them. They were my favourite band. Yeah.
No, I like them.
They're playing in London this month, I think, the 19th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the reunion gig, but 2 of the members have passed away now, and
Right. I think it's. Did you want to put some stuff on it then, or something? What do you want? Sticky stuff or
yeah,
wax?
some
I'll try this stuff. Hello. Have you ever used jojoba crystal wax? Graeme hasn't yet, but he may do now. He's quietly bored with it, but just see the transformation when he puts it on his hair. He might become extremely interested. We'll see.
I doubt it. Oh dear, that's very sticky.
Huh.
Oh dear. Yeah, don't need any more than that, for sure.
Okay. So remember, if your gel wax isn't sticky enough, Remember Graeme Simpson's advice, or even Graeme Simpson's advice. Don't use much. Available at Betty Tiger's Hair Salon. Jojoba Crystal Wax.
Yeah, be a bit more.
Oh. So it's not too bad then.
Pour it out.
Okay.
So is that
I've
it?
never done
Is that
an
all you
advert.
needed to do then? Have you turned it off now?
What?
Have you turned off
Oh
the
no,
recording?
it's still filming.
Oh,
It's live. You know, people hopefully come in for the hair doing when they see your my cutting ability and your gelling ability.
My jolling?
Gelling.
Oh, jelly, yeah.
Do you want any more? Yeah.
No, I'll be alright.
Customer told me off for whistling the other day.
Yeah?
They engaged me in conversation and it was to stop me whistling. I'll tell you about that. Here's a picture of the back of your head. Why don't you just rub it?
Okay. Well then, it's over.
Here's a picture of the back of your head.
Up. Up. Up.
Yeah, put your head up if you
Tilt
want.
it. Tilt it.
Tilt it.
Tilt it, not my head, tilt the
Right.
mirror
Okay.
towards me.
Towards you.
I need to see how bald I am up here.
Well, you're losing the baldness race.
What do you mean?
Well, look. Got mine.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you're not vain. I am. I'm vain. If I've got if I'm getting going bald, I'll have to shoot myself or something.
Right. Well, I've got an ear piercing gun.
Well, that
That's
might
probably
take-
the safest way to do it.
Might take a while doing it that way. Yeah. Cute.
Is that all right then?
Cute.
Okay. I could. It's not that thin actually.
No.
Could have a little bit of felt, couldn't you?
Not really. If I
Anyway,
felt, if I felt like it.
is that
You get the
this?
spray on stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
Get that spray on stuff to cover your bald patches,
yeah.
the thinning parts.
is it really bad with bald patches?
No, it isn't actually.
Mm.
I know men younger than you have got much less.
Yes.
I know my age is a terrible thing. Anyway, are we done now?
Well, I'm going to try and stop this, but
I don't
it's
think
the other way around.
I don't think it was very good that.
I think it was good enough.
I don't think you got the salient points because I was going to tell you what happened at 5 Acres and everything.
It's been nearly, but look, it's been nearly half an hour now.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go on about something else later.
I was very close to Yorkshire Ripper murder site when I did that Ivanhoe's, that Huddersfield gig. Yeah.
Well, maybe you could tell us about that next time then.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Are you going to wave? Well, you don't have to wave. You don't usually wave, do you?
No. Permanent wave.
Give us a nice grimace then.